What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Dana White just announced a fight. He just announced Garry versus Michael Venom Page. Also yesterday, Carlos Ulberg versus Jamal Hill was announced as the replacement for Khalil Roundtree. And then also Dana announced in this video, which I'm about to show you, that Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler will be having a press conference in Dublin, Ireland, the day after UFC 302. And that is going to be very fun, so I'll talk about that as well. But let's get into the video first. I'll show you what Dana said. I'll show you the announcement.
Up, guys, couple of announcements. UFC 303, McGregor versus Chandler. I'm sure you saw it yesterday. It was announced Jamal Hill versus Carlos Ulberg is the co-main event. We are also adding undefeated 14-0 welterweight Garry. He is going to be taking on the number 13 ranked Michael Venom Page. This fight is already the largest gate in UFC history, and it is International Fight Week. So, if you haven't got your tickets, you better get them now. Next week is UFC 302 in Newark. When that fight is over, I'm jumping on a plane and I'm flying straight to Dublin, Ireland. We're holding the Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler press conference live and free on June 3rd at the 3 Arena. I haven't been to Ireland in a while. The last time I was there was for McGregor Mayweather presser, and it was incredible, and I expect this to be the same. So, get your free tickets now at ticketmaster.ie.
Well done, Dana. Good man, Dana. That's a good fight. It's a lovely fight. It's a good scrap. So the great stuff. That card is no longer like fucking dead, because before that it was like the main and the co-main and then just a couple of other fun unranked fights. But now we actually got another fight on the card with stakes, and that's actually got some interest going into it. Garry versus MVP. I'll talk about it. I'm gonna pick MVP. I'll watch some more tape and I'll like see how confident I am in the prediction. But my initial reaction when I saw this is just like, yeah, they're probably similar levels of strikers, but MVP is just more powerful, and I think he might be quicker, and he's just more dangerous, honestly. Like, both of them are not the best chins. Like, Garry, we know, doesn't have a great chin, and MVP is not some granite-chinned guy either. But I do think the strike, it should be a pure striking fight. There is a good chance, I'll say, this might end up being boring as fuck, because the way both of these two strike is usually on the outside. MVP's a counter striker, we know that, and Garry is like, he's been doing a lot more counter striking too recently. Like against Jeff Neal, he was running around on the outside. Against Magny, fair play, he was going forward, but I don't know, something about these two matching up tells me it might be boring, and I don't think because we saw how Garry fought in front of Jeff Neal. When he knows someone has power, he doesn't fight as confidently, so he might just do the same here and try and stay on the outside. But even on the outside, I think MVP could still have success. This is not like it's like one really rangy striker versus like a pocket boxer. Like, these are two guys that like to fight at range. And so it's either just going to be a range fucking Adesanya leg kick battle, or it's just going to be or one of them's going to have to go forward. And I think if someone was going to go forward, I think it's more likely to be MVP. I don't think Garry wants to go forward and risk getting countered. But on the feet, I do think MVP wins. I think he's more powerful. I reckon he can crack Garry. Maybe KO him, but because look, he was landing some fucking flush shots on Kevin Holland, but Kevin Holland's defense is shit. He just gets away with it because he's got a good chin. So yeah, early lean, I'm going to go MVP. Maybe decision, just because I don't think it's going to be the most action-packed fight. So I'll go like MVP 29-28 or 30-27 decision. Maybe Garry gets some wrestling in there and takes him down a couple times, because we saw Kevin Holland took him down and spent some time on top. I know Holland's got decent jiu-jitsu, but his wrestling's not great. So yeah, Garry might, if he's smart, he would mix in some wrestling. I don't know how good his grappling is. But yeah, he should try and do that. But otherwise, I think MVP might just win on the feet. Again, more powerful. I think he has a longer reach, and obviously Garry, I don't trust him to take any really clean shots like Kevin Holland was taking. I just don't think that'll go well for him. So that's my opinion. Looking forward to the fight though. Now that card has actually, I'm gonna pull it up now on my computer. I'm never fucking organized with this. This is what happens with my videos. I think of something and then I don't have it prepared. So let me just search up UFC 303, because the card is actually fun. Like, I know a lot of people complaining about, it's not stacked. And obviously Conor cards, apart from 205, are never really, and maybe 189, they're never really super stacked, if you know what I mean. Like, his last card against Poirier, the co-main was Wonderboy versus Burns. But yeah, like Jamal Hill versus Carlos Ulberg, Ian Garry versus MVP, Cub Swanson versus Andre Feely, Michelle Waterson versus Gillian Robertson, who cares? Ray Tatsuru versus Carlos Hernandez, that's alright. Jourdain versus Gene Silva's fun. Arlovsky versus Bidet is abominable. Joe Piper versus Berriolt's fun. Bueno Silva versus Chiasson, whatever. Talbot versus Gamori, Talbot's just going to smoke him. And then Ricky Simone versus Vinicius Oliveira is actually a sick fight. And there's actually still more room on this card. Like, I'm pretty sure they've got 12 fights on the card right now. Put 2 more fights on there. Put Mauricio Rufy or something like that, because they're trying to give a few guys layups. Like, they're giving, what's his name? They're giving Talbot a free win. So they should do Mauricio Rufy on this card, because a lot of people have been making comparisons to, like, him and Connor. You should do that on this card. Give him someone. Do maybe, like, him versus, I don't know, just some unranked dude that's, like, got kind of shit defense. Like, do him versus, like, Michael Johnson or some shit. He can get a cool KO. Now, that's what you should do. You have a few fights at the top that mean everything. Obviously, the main event's sick. And then you got a couple other fights that people are really excited about. You got your mix of veterans, prospects. You have to chuck some women's MMA in there. You got to chuck a heavyweight fight in there. But then the rest of the fights should just be layup fights, or not layups, but like showcase fights for the prospects and the guys that you want to show to the masses, because everyone's going to be watching the Conor card, everyone's going to be watching the prelims, or at least the early prelims or the prelims, definitely the main card. So get some guys on there that you want to show off and be like, yeah, look at this guy, he's sick. Because people have been like calling Peyton Talbot like a Sean O'Malley kind of style. They've been calling Mauricio Rufy like a Conor McGregor sort of style. Like, get these guys on there, give them kind of cans, which is what they're doing with Talbot, and then they can have a showcase fight and look good. But yeah, again, I'm picking MVP. It's actually a solid card though. Like, it's never going to be super stacked. I don't think anyone, like, people will, like, I made a card builder for it and I made it way more stacked than it was ever going to be. Like, that was me kind of like hoping, but I didn't really think, they never do that. So yeah, I'm picking MVP, but now let's talk about the other announcement from Dana. So, as you heard in the video, Dana White said they will be doing a press conference with just Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler on June 2nd, the day after UFC 302 in Dublin, Ireland. This is incredible stuff. It would be sick still if they were doing it in America. Like, that'd be great. If they did it in Vegas or New York or something like that, that'd be cool. But in Ireland, that's better. That is what makes this a cool announcement that I'm looking forward to. You better tune into this. If you watched the Conor McGregor press conference back in the day, I'm not talking about the pre-fight ones like they would do, the normal like card ones that they do two days before the fights. I'm talking about the ones they would do they did with Aldo, they did with McGregor. When they do the press conferences, they kind of did the press conference tour. And maybe they're not going to do a full tour for that, but at least this one in Dublin is going to be sick. You know the chants that they were doing. You know everything that happened with that Jose Aldo press. Jose, are you listening? Jose, keep your belt distant. McGregor's coming for you. He'll do you into walking in McGregor Wonderland. And then the whole crowd would just go off. It was fucking elite. So they got to do something like that. Michael, are you listening? Like, they got to start something up. The crowd is going to be amazing. They're going to be roasting the hell out of Michael Chandler. He's just going to be sitting there just trying to do his little motivational speaking and they'll be like, I'll see you at the top. But yeah, Conor McGregor is going to have a field day with the press conference. We all know this. We all know the fight's a different story. Maybe Conor gets chinned, but we know how the press conference is going to go. Conor is going to have a field day. Hopefully he can piss off Chandler. Hopefully, maybe Conor won't even need to. Maybe the Irish fans can just do it for him. Because, even the other day, Conor went on as a kick stream and, he's like, fuck Usman, fuck Topuria as well, and fuck Volkanovski. I'd kick the head off his fucking shoulders, and that's a fact. He was going at everyone, but then he's like, this trash talk thing, it's not quite necessary anymore. It's not a part of my game that I need. It doesn't really bring anything else to the table. So yeah, hopefully he either just goes back on that and just has a fucking ball of a time and just kills Michael Chandler on the mic. Or if he doesn't want to be too crazy with it, the Irish fans are just going to ask Mike. It's like, Michael, what's it like to adopt black kids? Like, they're just going to ask him all these random questions. Michael, did you see the photo of Conor's mom in blackface? Would you consider adopting her? Like, they're gonna just be asking the most outrageous questions possible, and hopefully Chandler gets a bit flustered, because this is the opportunity for Michael to for people to get a bit pissed off, if you know what I'm saying. We got to make Michael make Michael Chandler a little bit mad, a little bit angry, and just make him even more likely to swing like a tard and swing overhand rights and get countered with a fucking KO blow from the notorious Conor McGregor. I'm excited about this. This is sick because I actually haven't been able to see. This is crazy. You guys are gonna fucking have a stroke when I say this. I've never actually watched a Conor fight live. Crazy enough, I've never seen a Conor fight live. I missed the Poirier trilogy because I had some shit on, and that's when I started getting into UFC. If you guys don't know, I'm like 17, so I haven't, like, it's not like I'm 30 and I've been able to watch UFC for ages. I only really like found out about it in like 2021, which is crazy to say. But yeah, I wasn't able to watch that card. So, like, the first card I watched was Volkanovski Ortega. So I wasn't actually able to watch 264. Even though before that, I was watching the press conference. So I was watching all of that stuff. And then obviously in that time, I got really into it. And I just, like, it was like, you guys know what I mean? Some people get into the sport and they're like casuals for like ages and then they slowly get into it, or they just stay casuals. Like, I knew nothing about UFC, didn't even know it existed. I wasn't even exposed to the UFC. And then as soon as I found out about it, I just literally turned into a hardcore fan within like a week. And I just knew everything in like 2 days. So I'm really excited for this. This is going to be sick. Going to see a Conor press conference live as well. That Ireland crowd is going to be going crazy. It's going to be a fun time. And hopefully the press conference questions are good. I know I just watched Lucas Tracy's video before this, and he's saying like the reporters better not just be like, Conor, what's it like to partner with BKFC, for Joy Stout? And then they're just going to be asking all these questions, sucking up to Conor. What they got to do, just insult Michael Chandler or give Conor layup questions to like just yell at Chandler and fucking humiliate him. Like, just ask like, Conor, what's it like to be fighting a 5'8" midget who adopts black kids? And then he's just gonna go off. It'll be funny. But yeah, this is gonna be sick. It's gonna be great. You better tune in. It's 5 p.m. Irish Standard Time. I don't know what the conversion is there. I don't know where that is in Australia, but hopefully it's not like in the middle of the fucking night. But whatever, it's going to be a great time. And now let's just talk about one other fight. Jamahal Hill versus Carlos Ulberg was announced yesterday, and I wasn't going to do it. This wasn't enough to do like a whole video, but now that we got 2 big fight announcements for 303, I'll do a video, obviously. But yeah, Carlos Ulberg versus Jamahal Hill. I actually think Carlos Ulberg is going to win by KO. And I think Jamahal Hill is unbelievably open to left hooks and right hooks and just overall the shots that Carlos Ulberg lands. I know people, because what people are going to do is when this fight happens and Ulberg chins him in the first round, they're going to be like, how could you even know that Ulberg was going to win? You're just guessing at that point or something like that, or it's just because Jamahal Hill's coming off a KO loss. It's like, no, it's not. And also stop resume coping. They're going to resume cope. They're going to be like, they're going to do what MMA Guru normally does whenever he gets a pick wrong. So just because this guy went to the 3rd round with Dawoon Jung, how's he meant to beat Jamahal Hill? They're going to resume cope and not realize that style. I think MMA Guru is actually picking Ulberg, but that's just like an example of what he does in a lot of when he gets picks wrong. But yeah, people are going to resume cope if they pick Hill and he loses and be like, what do you mean? Jamahal Hill's been in, there was so much better competition. How could you pick Ulberg? It doesn't really make any sense. It's like stylistically, this fight is really good for Ulberg, in my opinion. Ulberg is a pretty good striker that is, like, obviously he's a good striker. They're both solid strikers, but let's not act like Hill is just some technical fucking savant. It's why I picked Pereira. It's why I picked Pereira going into that fight. It's why a lot of people picked Pereira, because Hill is open as fuck to left hooks. There's so many like screenshots of him fighting like everyone that he fights, and like against Thiago Santos, his fucking hands were down by his waist and he gets caught. Even Glover was cracking him a lot, but Glover's just not like a super powerful guy. So yeah, I think this fight sucks for Jamahal Hill. I think the turnaround is still too quick. Like that's I was going to pick Hill against Roundtree because I don't think Roundtree's that good. Even though Roundtree has really good power, I don't think he's as technical or as quick as Carlos Ulberg. But even then, people being like, I hate this fight for Jamahal, man. He's coming off a KO loss. He's turning around too quickly. I think people forget, man. People are forgetting that just because the fight got cancelled, now it's a new opponent. I think the memory of the fact that this is going to be a 10-week turnaround, this is going to be exactly 10 weeks between fights, and he got the Khalil fight booked like 4 days after he lost to Pereira. It was retarded. He got the fight booked like straight away, so he's right into a training camp. And Khalil is a different style to Ulberg. They're not so like super similar or super different. Sorry, it's not like if he was fighting Garry. If he was fighting Garry, it's different. Like, I mean, Roundtree, Ulberg, they're comparable, but Ulberg's a bit taller. Ulberg, I think, is quicker than Roundtree. He's a bit crisper with the striking. Roundtree probably has a little bit more power, like pound for pound. He probably hits harder. But Roundtree's a guy that kind of just swings big shots. Ulberg actually has precise striking. He's got check hooks. He's actually can catch you over the top if you overextend on shots. With his Roundtrees, usually his KOs are coming like offensively. He's on the front foot and he just throws shit at you and then cracks you. But I think Ulberg is a guy who can counter-strike really well, or he can go offensively. But if Jamal Hill overextends on his 1-2 like he always does and brings his fucking left hand back to his fucking hip, then he's going to get chinned, in my opinion. So I'm picking Ulberg by round 1 KO or TKO, whatever, or maybe round 2, something like that. But Ulberg by finish, I think this is a bad fight for Jamal. I don't think he's going to take the shots too super well. And yeah, I think Ulberg I still am not sold that Jamal Hill is like that amazing of a striker. Like, he looked great against Glover, but like, let's not act like this guy's distance management is shit. His footwork, it's not shit, but it's not great. His footwork is abysmal. He fucking steps over his feet like a person that's been doing boxing for like a month. It's weird. So yeah, I don't like his chances in this fight. I mean, I'm not saying he can't win. Like, there is a good chance he just catches Ulberg, who has been chinned before, or he just survives an onslaught, Ulberg gasses out. But I don't think... and also people are going to cope and be like, oh, he lost to Kennedy in Njoku. How's he going to beat Jamal Hill? Again, shit happens. Jamal Hill lost to Paul Craig. Like, people lose fights in their early part of their career and they get better. It's crazy. It's same as when MMA Guru was saying, like, how did Bernard St. Denis beat Ismail Bonfim? Because he lost to Dos Santos and took Nicolas Stolze to the second. That's what everyone does. That's what he does all the time, is resume cope and be like, oh, he took this guy to the second, or he took this guy to the third. How is he going to win? Or how was I supposed to know he won this fight? Would win this fight. So yeah, that's what people are going to do here. I think the betting odds are right. I think it should be an even money fight. I think it would be wrong to like put Ulberg as like a big favorite or like an actual sizable favorite. But just having this at even money, I think is correct. People are thinking Jamal Hill is just so much better than Ulberg. I don't see it. I just, like, you can look at the eye test. Jamal Hill doesn't look like crazy good at striking, and stylistically, I think this fight is going to lead to him getting caught. So yeah, I'm picking Ulberg to win by KO. I already read out the card before, so it's actually pretty good. They got room for 2 more fights. I'm telling you, I know this is unlikely, but if they were to add like a Diego Lopez versus Josh Emmett, that would be so sick. Or even because like right now, the main card is going to be McGregor versus Chandler, Hill versus Ulberg, Garry versus MVP. What are the other 2 fights on the main card going to be? There's no way they put, like, Swanson versus Feely, I guess, is on the main card. And then what are they going to do? Maybe Pyfor, or maybe, like, Peyton Talbot or some shit? Like, if they want to give him a showcase, but... I don't know. I like the card a lot, but just add one more banger. Like, add one more amazing fight. You don't even pay Ulberg... So, you don't even pay... I don't imagine Ulberg gets paid that much. Hill would, obviously. And I don't even think Ian Garry gets paid that much. So, yeah, it's not like you're forking out a bunch of money. None of these guys getting pay-per-view points. So yeah, do like Lopez versus Emmett or something like that. Just one more fight. Add one other sick fight on there. And then do Lopez versus Emmett on the main card. And then as a prelim fight, do like Mauricio Rufy versus Michael Johnson or something like this. Or versus like, I don't know, some dude. Like just some random fuck. Anyone really. But yeah, I want to see Mauricio Rufy on this card, and I want to see Diego Lopez. Lopez said he has a fight signed, so I assume it probably won't be for this card, but if it is, that'd be sick. Anyway, that's the video done, guys. Crazy news, great fights. Hope you enjoy, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.